This is the physique I've maintained over the last couple of years now, and it is the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing today. It's the reason why I'm energetic, healthy, and well. Driving force behind all of that is consistency. So I want to go through some things that you've been struggling with in terms of consistency, something that you've maybe not even thought about that's holding you back, so then you can bring it to light and actually fix that problem. I work with entrepreneurs and high performers, so if they are finding time to train and they're fixing these issues, then these principles will 100% apply. First thing I want to touch on is this. It's just a mindset that I want you to have. I would recommend, or I think you should have. It is that if you're doing something and it's not working, then perhaps what you're doing isn't the right thing. So just be open to change, be open to taking in new ideas and thinking analytically. So he's a fool who does the same thing expecting a different result. Just keep that in mind as I go through the topics today. So the first thing that I think is holding you back in terms of consistency is your surroundings. So they could be your friends, your family, and your work. Now, what I mean is when you've set yourself a plan, you'll told yourself in your room on your own that I'm going to set this new goal for myself, okay? I've told myself in the next 4 months I'm going to lose the weight. And the first sight of your friends calling you to do something like going for takeaway, your family asking you to go eat here, your work brings out pizzas on a Friday, you just give in. Even though in the back of your mind you don't really want to do it, but you just keep giving in again and again. You tell yourself, no, it's fine because, I'm doing good for 5, 6 days of the week. It's only 1 day a week. But what you don't understand is it's cementing a type of philosophy in your mind that you don't and you can't be yourself, that you'll always want to be able to fit in. Now, the problem with that is it's impossible to get successful, in my opinion, with anything while trying to maintain perfect relations with every single other person, right? Because they're going to want one thing and you're going to want another thing. What you need to find out is a way to be confident in who you are, because it's going to keep taking you off track. If you can't tell your friends that, look, I don't want to eat this pizza today, I don't want to jump out to do that because it doesn't fit my goals, you basically respect them more than you respect yourself. So I would really question where your mind is at with things. That is where you're at. So if you can't fix these things, it will keep taking you off track, and that is what I truly believe. Cool. Next one is your self-image. Now, this is very important because as long as you don't see yourself as an active, healthy individual, all of these things will feel like effort. And even after that, it will still feel like effort, but it will feel like it more so. Now, there's a lot of studies that's been done where they take people that are overweight, right? And they give them a diet plan, they train with them, they lose the weight. They get in shape, but in a couple of weeks they always put the weight back on. Now the question is, why do they do that? They've changed externally, but they've not changed internally. So you might be going to the gym and building a consistency in terms of going there, but you haven't changed the way that you see yourself. So the way that I recommend you do that is you have to go through a period of forcing your actions until they become automatic, right? So the first time that you do a couple of things, the first like couple of weeks, maybe months even, it feels like effort, it feels like a slog work, but it has to be done until you get to that point. Now I've highlighted this point here. Once you get to that stage, you'll know when it is. Things will start to become way more automatic and you'll just sort of fly through the things that you need to do. That's where momentum kicks in. However, you just need to keep going until you get to that stage, until your mind starts to see yourself as not a fat or skinny or unhealthy individual trying to get in shape, but just as this is what I do, right? The reason I go to the gym, the reason I train, the reason I work on this is because I this is who I am now. This is the way I want to see myself, right? So now I'm starting now in this business itself. There's some things I find very uncomfortable that my self image hasn't fully adapted to. Okay, now I know because of this principle that I'm gonna keep doing it, and until one day it's just gonna start setting into my mind that this is who I am. So I have to keep slogging through until I get there. Now, I heard a really good analogy from Hamza, so I'm gonna use that. Hamza Self Improvement YouTube, if you don't know who he is. He said it's like you walk through the snow, okay? So imagine that you've got a big trek of snow outside and need to get to your car, right? The first time you walk through the snow, it's very hard, right? Because the snow is very high. But the second time, the snow is cleared. Third time, the snow is cleared a bit more. Fourth time is cleared even more. Fifth, you get the message, right? So you keep doing it again and again until you alter your self-image, until it becomes easier and almost automatic. The next reason that I don't think you're staying consistent is because you're doing way too much, right? A lot of people focus on short bursts of intensity. So that means they rely on motivation. They'll just think to themselves, now, it's coming up to summer, I just want to get in shape quickly because everyone's getting in shape, and they'll just go on a big blast, maybe 5-6 days a week, and then they hit a stint because they can't keep it up on their job, right? This is a life of someone who relies on motivation, that focuses on short bursts of intensity. Instead, what I recommend is that you focus on long-term consistency, right? Let's move my face out the way. This means that you're more disciplined in your approach. So you know that things take time and you attack the problem step by step. So what I always recommend is starting off with a 3 or 4 day routine, because that's very, very manageable for most people with a very busy lifestyle. And this is a compounding effect. You're doing a little amount per week, however, the results will add up over time. Now, this means you're results orientated. I didn't touch on it, but the people who have short bursts of intensity, they're always talk orientated. So they want to do a lot so then they can talk about what they're doing. However, if you are results orientated, you don't need to talk about what you're doing because you're focusing on just getting the job done. And you do it to such a good extent that your results will speak for itself. So in a practical tip, focus on a 3 day full body routine or a 4 day upper lower split, and I promise you the consistency will start to build, and that's how you literally ingrain it that this is who I am, this is what I do. Wicked. Now the next reason that I find a lot of people fail with consistency is because they don't see any results. So when you don't see progress in something, you quit. Now there's two sides to this coin, right? First of all is, getting in shape isn't easy, so you do need to have some sort of patience. But another thing is you might not actually be doing the right thing. Okay, so a couple of things you need to think about is that program is not the correct fit for you. Now, bro, just buy a personalized program, right? And I'm not even just saying that because I'm a coach. Like, to be fair, I coach. I don't even do programs that much. But the thing is, you're spending money on food, on clothes, on shoes, on what, I don't know, not even watches now. Like, I don't know what people buy, like phones and accessories. Why would you not invest in a program that's going to help you become stronger and fitter? I don't know. This is just the way that I think. I realize how backwards my mentality was. I wouldn't invest in myself, but I would invest. I would invest in the material things around me. Now it's just a question you need to ask yourself. That if you're spending money on that, but you don't want to spend on yourself, then you might have a flawed way of thinking, in my personal opinion. Okay. The second is a lack of knowledge. So you're not seeing the results because you don't know what you don't know. There's something called ignorance debt which you have to pay. For example, I am paying a lot of ignorance debt in my business right now because I don't know what I don't know. There's a lot of information in terms of growing and coaching and becoming a better coach and training people and scaling a business that I don't know, right? So I need to pay off that ignorance debt as fast as possible. Now, there's a couple of ways I can do that. I can invest and get someone to teach me, or I can spend more and more time. So you need to ask yourself this question: how fast do you want to get your best physique, your highest energy, your strongest self? Yes, if you've got time, it might be worth it. But if you want to get that faster, then you might want to look at investing into yourself a little bit faster so you get those results quicker. Cool. And another thing which you can actually do yourself is not specifying your training. What I mean by that is, I found for me anyway, a lot of progress has come is when I pick certain periods to do certain things. So for example, muscle groups. So I might pick 1 month to focus on chest, right? Then another month to focus on legs, and then another month to focus on shoulders. Now what that means is I'm doing something called volume delegation. So each of these months I'm putting a little bit more into that particular body part so it has enough to try and grow. What I found is, as a natural trainer, as someone who's not a steadhead, trying to do everything at once just makes it difficult to find progress in a particular area. So just focusing a little bit more in one area for a couple of weeks, maybe 4 to 8 weeks, bringing that up a little bit and then moving to the next one keeps you more motivated because you're still seeing some sort of movement. Now, you don't always have to be training just to make gains, right? So this is a lot of things people don't. This is a common misconception. If you're a busy professional, if you've got a business to run, yes, personalizing and trying to go through specific training might not be right if you've got a deadline to meet, if you've got businesses to close and stuff like that. So the best thing for you is just get into the gym, right? Your goal has to change to not being Chris Bumstead or Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just to maintain good physical health and maintain the muscle mass that you've got. So you have to think about what specific period of training are you in and train according to that principle, right? And the last reason that you're not consistent is accountability. It's because you have no one to answer to, and you're not mature or respect yourself enough to be accountable to yourself enough yet. And I'm still working on that. Now, what I would say with this is the number one accountability you can get is from a coach or mentor. That's a given. Speak to any business person. Another one is a close friend or family, and the third is yourself. Now, I'll put the third as yourself because it takes a very, very high amount of self-work and internal work to be truly, truly accountable to yourself, right? It is someone who respects himself a lot and has high self-worth, has high confidence, has high trust in himself that can do that. So I wouldn't even put myself in that category right now, right? I'll be honest. It takes time to become that person, but it is possible. So what you want to do is shortcut it. Use a coach or a mentor, a close friend or family, someone who's doing well in this scene to keep you accountable, right? Message them every day. Get them to ask you, look, have I been to the gym? Have I been eating well? And then you can do the same thing for them. Because in that way, it's not just you lying to yourself. You have to answer to somebody, right? And even I want to touch on this yourself point, right? Every single thing that I'm working towards right now, that's very important in my life, I'm tracking, okay? So there is some metric, maybe a Google Sheet or some sort of like my sheet on the wall here. I'm tracking how many people I'm getting in touch with every day with my business, but you have to track it because metrics means that you're actually measuring something, and it gives you an additional layer of accountability because you can't lie to yourself, right? A number on a wall, the amount of weeks you've trained in the gym, the amount of days you've been eating clean, you can't lie to yourself about that. Once you've inputted it on the Google Sheet, there's no going back, right? Unless you've got really, really poor self-worth or you go and delete it and change it, which I doubt any of you have. Just make something like that. And if you want to know little accountability techniques and tools and things that I've used to build myself up to this consistency level, let me know and I'll go over a video on that.